I'm very excited for this video because it was a lot of fun to make, and I know that last time I made one of these, it was really helpful to so many of you. So if you want to see part 1 to this, it was a while ago and I'll link it up here. It takes me quite a bit of time to test out all of these shampoos, so please give me a thumbs up for that. And if you want to see another part to this, let me know in the comments what shampoos you would want me to actually try and feature in the next video of this series. And also make sure you're following me on Instagram, because I always ask questions on my stories to get you guys to help me out with these videos, like what shampoo do you want to see, so that I can see what the most common answer is, and then I can give you what you want. So if you're not following me, make sure you go follow me on the gram. So for today's video, we're gonna pull over my handy dandy little laptop cart. So for today, I tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different shampoos that I want to talk about in today's video, so I can give you my full thoughts and we can rate them. But I want to say that after I tested all of these, I'm still not switching my shampoo, y'all. I'm still a plain girl through and through. There are a few different reasons for this, but the biggest reason is I am just a brand loyalist. When I find a brand that's doing really, really good things, that works really well for me, why would I switch? None of these are doing better things for my hair, and none of them compare to Plain when it comes to things like ethics, sustainability, certifications, things like that. I'll link Plain below as well if you want to check them out, but basically they have a refill system. So they take back their bottles and they refill them, not just recycle them, they refill them. So this is creating the circular economy that I personally think is the true key to the current waste crisis that we face. And they're the only brand on this list today that does that. So that's why I really love them. But aside from that, most of the brands we're going to talk about today that you guys requested don't have wonderful certifications, not a lot of sustainable things about their ingredients, their packaging, how they treat their workers, specifics, any of that. Whereas Plain is made in the US, B Corp certified, a woman-owned business, part of 1% for the planet, carbon neutral, etc., etc. I could go on for days about why I love Plain, but that's why I won't be switching, because they're honestly just the best. I do have a discount code with them if you want to go check it out. Aside from that, the categories that I ranked every single one of the following shampoos on are if they have palm oil in them or not, because that's the thing that most of you asked about when I asked, if they're cruelty-free, vegan, and if they have SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. SLS is not really bad for the environment, by the way. Most studies I've seen say that it's quite benign for if it gets into our water systems, but it's not so great for your scalp, and I think that's why most people ask about it. So in order to save time, I'm not going to say these for each of these different shampoos, but I will put them on the screen for the full time while I'm talking about each brand so that you know. First up, we do have one that I'm really excited about. This is Rhyme and Reason. So this is a brand that I believe is only in Target right now, but they're super, super interesting because they are the first brand ever to make a completely 100% recycled plastic bottle. Even the cap. The cap is what's traditionally pretty hard for brands to figure out how to make it out of recycled plastic. Their cap is 100% recycled plastic, which is really, really cool. I feel like when brands take the initiative to do that, they can be the leaders in changing the market, which I love to see. And so I give Rhyme and Reason big props for that reason. But the other thing I think is really cool is they've really, really thought about how to maximize how much they can fit on a truck, right? Thereby minimizing the carbon footprint of each of these bottles when they're shipped to the store and then to be sold by making their bottles square. So if you think about a bunch of circular containers on a truck, there's obviously space all in between them whenever you have to ship it. This can also lead to needing more shipping materials so that they're not bumping around and spilling and all that kind of stuff. But what Rhyme and Reason did is basically make all their bottles square so they can pack tightly together, and their study shows that they can get 20% more bottles per truck by doing this, which I think is really cool. So aside from the main 4 things, like I said, that we're going to keep on screen for each brand, I also want to talk about for each brand how it lathered, because I know that lather doesn't mean that it's cleaning better, but a lot of people like lather, myself included. I feel like it helps you know where you're at while you're cleaning, if you've gotten to everything or not. So I'm going to talk about lather for each of them. I'm also going to talk about the smell for each of them, and then the after wash feel, how it like felt on my hair afterwards, and how long I like didn't have to go without washing if my hair was oily, etc., all of that. And for each brand, if the shampoo had like a sister conditioner where it was like very clear that it was meant to be used with that conditioner, I went ahead and used it, whereas on a normal basis I don't use conditioner. So the afterwash feel for Rhyme and Reason was super smooth. I was very impressed by how my hair felt afterwards, and it didn't like dry out my hair. You know, when you use a pretty harsh shampoo, usually the ones that have SLS in it, it will dry out your hair and it strips it. That's also why I don't use conditioner anymore, because once you remove SLS from your shampoos, your hair's not dry like that. but I also didn't get that feeling from this one, so that was really, really good. And what I really like about Rhyme and Reason, and this is the only one that did this, I don't know what they've got in their ingredients that's doing it, but my hair dries super quick. Out of all the shampoos I tried for this video, with Rhyme and Reason, my hair dried surprisingly faster than any of the rest of them. The lather is good, but I think that's to be expected because it is still a liquid shampoo, so that lather is much easier to get than with most bars. And the smell is not too strong and it's natural-ish. I actually chose the volumizing shampoo, but they have a bunch of different ones, and I'm guessing that the scent is different for each one, but it's not overpowering at all. And that's Rhyme and Reason. I think this brand is actually really cool, in particular for the person who like solely shops at Target. For the person who is not super into sustainability but wants to make a more sustainable choice, it's right there on the shelves at Target. I think this is a good option. Next up is a really interesting one. So this is very different. We've had a couple liquid shampoos. We have bars coming up. This one is super unique in that it is a powder. So actually, as I was filming this video, Meow Meow Tweet reached out to me and said, hey, we're releasing this new shampoo powder. Do you want to try it? And I was like, that's real weird, but like I'm working on a video, so yeah, send it over. So they didn't pay me to talk about them, but they did send me this product. And it's powder that turns into a shampoo, and let me tell you, I was really, really surprised by it because the shampoo and the conditioner both worked really well. If you want to know more about how Meow Meow Tweet ranks on my opinion on if it's sustainable or not, I actually included them in one of my ranking sustainable brands video, so I'll link it up here if you want to go check that out. But this shampoo works surprisingly well. So the different things, the after wash feel was good. This one in particular, probably likely because it does have a shampoo and a sister conditioner. So I did use the conditioner on this one. The lather was also surprisingly good. I didn't think that a powder was gonna lather up a whole lot, but it did really, really well. And the smell is pretty strong on this one. I think out of all the shampoos, this was the strongest smell. It's not a bad smell, but it definitely, like, if you don't like fragrance, it smells a lot. I don't think it's stuck with my hair because Madison would have told me, she's always the judge of this. But as you're like washing it in your hair, you definitely smell it. Next up was a highly requested one called Viori, I think is how you say that. This brand is very different and it's a very mission-driven brand. Like, they do a lot for their local community. All the ingredients are super sustainable and really ethically sourced by their community, and like the way that they've made the shampoo bar is almost like it developed out of the community instead of like something that developed and then seeked or like went to find a community to support with it, if that makes sense. But the after wash feel for this one was good. Nothing super like interesting to report one way or the other. It wasn't like super drying or super moisturizing, just good. Lather was okay, and the scent is like not the best. I want to say it might be fragrance free because when you smell it, I don't smell any fragrance, and it doesn't stick with your hair at all, but it's definitely not scented, I guess is what I would say. And the lather is just okay. I don't think this shampoo bar's like driving home wonderful point is that it's like a wonderful performing shampoo bar. I feel like it's very mission driven, which we love to see. So if that's something that's important to you to support with your money on, like, you know, a repeated basis, because shampoo is something you would be repurchasing, then I think they're a good brand to support. But I don't think that like their formula is anything necessarily to like write home about. But that's just my opinion. If yours is different, let us know in the comments. Next up is Spring and Vine, and this one is really interesting because it is a shampoo bar. It is in a cardboard box. It is easy to grab on the shelves at Target. But what I find really interesting about this shampoo bar, and literally none of the other ones that I received, is that it did come in a thin plastic bag. Now don't get me wrong, this is still a lot less plastic than most shampoo bottles, and I definitely would prefer if people had this thin layer of plastic versus all of the plastic shampoo bottles that they use and all the shipping that comes along with all of those plastic shampoo bottles, etc. The shampoo bar still has its benefits. I just don't know why they felt like their shampoo bar needed a plastic bag when literally it's the only one I've ever tried that had one. So the after wash feel here is pretty dry, and this doesn't have a companion like sister conditioner, so there was nothing for me to like use with it, and it is a pretty drying shampoo bar in my opinion. It does lather very, very good, and I've actually taken this bar on road trips with me before and had it like, this might be, I don't know if this is weird, but I just had it double purpose as my shampoo bar and my soap on our honeymoon. That's actually the trip I took it on. And it works really well. It lathers wonderfully. And the smell is quite natural and very light, and it doesn't stick with your hair like after your shower. Let me know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for you, by the way, because I know a lot of people love smells, and when I talked to Hiram about why so many brands put so much freaking scent in their stuff, it's because it's a huge part of like the consumer experience, and a lot of people love fragrance in their stuff. They love the like experience of that in the shower. Let me know if that's you or if you hate it, because that's me. This one is fun. So this is Habitat Botanicals. I've gotten a lot of questions about this brand. It is made by Pila. So Pila owns Habitat. And so I think a lot of people ask me if I like them, what I think about them, etc. So here's your answer. I will say I don't think it follows necessarily like all of the sustainability guidelines like Pila does. From what I can tell, this was a small woman-owned brand with locally sourced ingredients and all that sort of stuff. And then Pila purchased that company, and they are now working together to build this brand. They are part of 1% for the planet, by the way. None of these other brands that I haven't mentioned those things about, they're not the carbon neutrals, the B Corps, the 1% for the planet. At least Habitat is part of 1% for the planet, so we give them props for that. Now I have to tell you on this bar, I do not like the texture. It feels like cookies and cream, at least before you get it wet. The afterwash feel was good, nothing super interesting to write home about, super dry or super moisturizing, just good. The lather is okay, especially compared to some other ones on this list. It's not super great, but it's not bad. And the shampoo bar is a no fragrance bar, which if you're sensitive to smells is a really, really good thing. But I think people were asking me, because it's owned by Pila, we expect it to be like great and wonderful like Pila is, but I don't think it's necessarily anything to like write home about. But let me know if you've tried it and if you disagree. This one I really like. This one is called Peach, and the only place I think you can get it is from Grove Collaborative. That's actually how I got it. They sent it to me a long time ago, and I've been using this one on our road trips for the last like few months. They are made in the US, and they are a B Corp, so we love to see that. This is a shampoo bar I can go the longest without washing my hair again with. Literally no other shampoo does this with my hair. I only wash my hair like once or twice a week, okay? If it gets oily, I'm fine with it. It's up in a bun, I don't care. But in the case that I don't want to wash my hair for a few days and I need it to look good, this is a shampoo bar I would go to. So I absolutely love this one, and it does have a conditioner bar paired with it, so I always use that as well. When it comes to the lather, this one is good, and it does have a smell. The conditioner bar, the smell is like very, very faint. The shampoo has more of a smell, but I don't think it sticks with you very much. And yeah, I really like this one. This is probably the one I have tested the most like long term, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for a good shampoo bar. Next up, you asked about Acure. And I know they make really great skincare, so I was really curious to find out, is their shampoo bar any good? I will say I tried to look into like all of these brands and tell you guys about their transparency, their sustainability, their ethics, all that kind of stuff. And for the most of them, they don't say anything about it. But Acure was really frustrating because they did have a link on their website talking about Our Story, which was the only about us kind of page that there was. So I clicked on it, and there was like a few different greenwashing terms like ethical and sustainably sourced, with absolutely no details and no transparency about it. Also, again, hence why I'm sticking with plain, because of this list, they're the only one that has that many certifications, transparency, and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying. But Acure was particularly frustrating because they put like 3 sentences on their About Us page, and that's just ridiculous to me. But you asked about it, and so I tested it for you, and I actually think the bar itself is really good. So it does have SLS in it, which, like I said, not terrible for the environment, just most of the time not good for your hair, which I think is why the feel after I washed it was very dry, but also the lather was incredibly impressive. I think this is the kind of shampoo bar that would be good for someone like my sister. She's like super anti-shampoo bar, regardless of the video I did with them trying to transform her life. I'll link that video up here. She's not stuck with any of those things, and it's so frustrating to watch, especially now that like we live together again. But I digress. I think the shampoo bar could be good for someone like her because she washes her hair every day because of how oily her hair is, which I told her she needs to stop doing that because it's counterintuitive. But someone who wants like a traditional shampoo feel but from a bar, I think this is really good for them. And it's more sustainable because a lot less packaging, obviously, and a lot less water, a lot less weight to ship. It's definitely more sustainable, but like not up to my standards because of their lack of transparency, I'm just saying. And last, this is probably the most requested bar from my last video. It's called Shangrin Valley. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Now, I was really excited about this one because it's a huge bar. It says it's an all-purpose kind of bar, like you can use it as a shampoo bar, as a soap, and all that kind of stuff. I was excited about them though because they are Rainforest Alliance certified and they are made in the US. I said at the end I'm going to tell you which one's my favorite, worst, and which one I'm going to take on my road trip, but this was by far the worst one I tried. Let me know if you've used this because I absolutely hated it. So the afterwash feel was heavy. My hair took so long to dry after I used this shampoo bar. My hair felt weighted down, and by the next day, midday, my hair was oily. And I never experienced that on the second day. But I just did not like how my hair felt after I used it. The lather was pretty good, and I think no complaints there, it did lather well. And the smell was also not great. Like, it was almost bad smelling, and not just when you like hold it up while it's dry, but like while you're washing your hair in the shower. And that's the only one I felt that way about. Like, some of them had a very faint smell, some of them had no smell. This one was kind of like unpleasant to use. So that's definitely my least favorite one. Plain is still like my favorite. Like, I'm not switching, mostly because their ethics are great and it's a type of I'm a brand loyalist, actually. That's the reason. That's the reason. But also because they have a great certifications. They're a wonderful company all around. Like, I love transparency in brands, and I think Plain is like, it embodies that very well. So sticking with them, but what I'm going to take on my road trip, because I always take shampoo bars on road trips, is going to be, drum roll please, the peach shampoo bar. I'm gonna stick with my peach shampoo bar because I really like it out of all of these ones that I tried. I think one that also gets a super like good mention is Rhyme and Reason, because I really like the feel of it in my hair. I would use it, but like out of all these, that's where I'm sitting. So let me know your thoughts, which of these you would choose if you're gonna try any. Check out all the links, I'll link them all in the description. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram if you're not already, so you can be involved in some of my next videos. And remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye guys.